Hi there everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to my channel. If you've been following along, then you'll know that recently I've got quite excited by the idea of attending a LARP. Now that's not so different to what I usually do, which is reenacting, but there are some differences and I've decided to make it extra hard on myself. You see, the LARP that I go to does have a 15th century faction, but I do a lot of 15th century reenacting. And so I've decided to go with a faction that has a completely different aesthetic, which means I'm going to need to put together an entirely different kit. Now, one of the things that I like to do is to do some of the building and making myself. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through how I turned this, some plain old leather, into the first piece of my new kit, which is a nice leather pouch. The first step was to do some research. If I was going to make a historical bag, then I would be looking at historical examples. But for LARP, I was able to look at some really cool LARP costumes. These ones are from Enric Pujol Art on Instagram. I absolutely love the work that he's done. And then for a slightly more historical take, here is NP Historical Shoes, who is absolutely incredible. So then I started doing some sketches. This is the overall costume sketch for what I'm aiming for my character. There'll probably be some changes in the final one. And then I did a sketch of the bag itself. I had an idea at first that I was going to do 3 rings on the front, which is the symbol of my faction, but it doesn't end up like that in the end. So then I made a paper template and cut the pieces out of leather, and then I oiled them with some olive oil. That isn't always necessary, but this leather was very old and very dry, so adding some oil to it rehydrated the leather. Then I dyed it with an alcohol-based dye and left it overnight to dry. The next day I could start putting everything together. So here are the straps that are going to become loops on the back. Now I'm going to sew them together, but in order to make sure that they don't shift around while I'm doing that, I'm using contact adhesive to glue them into place. Obviously this is something that historically we wouldn't be able to do, but as this is a LARP bag, I can play with some more modern equipment. If you have seen recently on the channel, I put up a video of me making this log. This is it holds an armorer's stump, but I needed to do this halfway through my project because I needed something to work on. So you can find the full process of this on my channel, but here's a cut down version of me making the armorer's stump. Having a nice flat top to it is important for this because I'm going to be using it to make the holes in the leather that I'm going to sew through. And then I've got these leather straps on it so I can move it and I can store my hammers. Here we go. The strap needs some holes in it, and I've got these nice leather working chisels that put in a whole line of holes to sew through. Leather this thick needs the holes added beforehand, so that then the leather needle will go through easily enough. This is really satisfying. This tool allows you to put a line into the leather a set distance from the edge, which makes sewing that much easier and quicker. And I also wanted to sew around the opening of the bag so that it would just give it a bit more strength to it. This isn't always done, but I wanted to do it for this. Now, as far as this LARP is concerned, I had to check the rules, and one of the things that it says is that you should keep your out of character things and your in character equipment separately. So this is going to be my out of character bag, So when I was doing the patterns, I needed to make sure that it was going to be big enough to hold my modern equipment, but it didn't need to be massive because it wasn't going to hold any of my in-character stuff. I got these lovely clips from Amazon as well to hold the bag together while I was sewing it, and I did a whip stitch all the way around the outside. Long sewing jobs like that I tend to do in the evenings in front of the TV, so I didn't really get any footage of that, but you can see the stitch going all the way around the outside there. And there's the inside, and then I've also sewn along the top there to help hold it all together. So of course you could stop here. This is a very simple bag. It's quite a small one. Like I said, this just really needs to hold my phone and my wallet while I'm LARPing, but I wanted to add something to the front of it, and this was the design that I initially came up with, but then I decided to start having a go at some others, and then I realized I'd already done this design, which is based on an Anglo-Saxon image. So I took the pouch, I wetted it down. I realized that I probably did some of this in the wrong order because the oiling of the leather has stopped it from accepting the water quite so well. It's much more waterproof, that's good, but it means that it's much harder to add the tooling to the leather. And here's another mistake that I made. I really should have cut this out before I applied it, because if you have a look at the end of it, end of the video, you will see that the image isn't exactly central, but I've traced around it, and that's going to leave a nice light imprint on the leather. Next time I'll probably as well do the tooling before I dye the leather. The reason is that, like I said, I tend to do most of my work on this sort of thing in the evening because this isn't my full-time job, and it's incredibly hard to see the light lines when you're working in the evenings. So then I use these tools to hammer in the design, and here is the finished product. Like I said, there are some things that I'd change for next time, but I'm really pleased because I've got a bag which is just for me, and that's great because I'm the kind of person that leaves things everywhere. So this is instantly recognizable as mine. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'd really love to hear your opinions down below. I'm not averse to a little criticism. I'm really pleased with it. I think I'm really proud of what I've been able to do. This is it's not the first leather pouch that I've made, but I've tried a lot of new things here, including I think quite an elaborate and quite a tricky image on the top. But if you've got any ideas about how I could improve it or how I could improve the next one, then I'd really appreciate those in the comments down below. Thank you so much to my patrons who have been helping me put all of this together. I've got an entire plan about putting together this new kit and guiding you all through that and showing you how I do that. Now, if you're not into LARP, then don't worry, we are still keeping going with some historical videos on the channel as well. And I kind of feel like this LARP series, I'm going to be treating my LARP kit just the same as I would a reenactment kit. So it's going to be trying to imagine that this world that I'm joining, this fantasy world that I'm joining, is an actual historical world, and I am reenacting a character from it. So even if LARP isn't exactly your thing, you'll definitely be getting some reenactment ideas from what I'm doing with this. Like I said, big thanks to my patrons. Big thanks to everyone who has supported the channel. If you're not subscribed, then please do subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.